Hello dear friends, Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Top Lesson for You. Dear friends, as you know that we are discussing about the cell, the structure of the basic unit of all living organisms, right? So up to now we have discussed about the structure of the cell membrane. I have recorded about the structure of cell membrane, the lipids and the proteins and the carbohydrates which are present inside the cell membrane, and all their functions also we have recorded, so you can go and watch those lectures to have the first concept about the cell, that what is cell. Before that lecture I have recorded about the properties of a cell, that if you are talking about a cell, what should be the properties of a cell, how can you recognize that in my hand this is a cell. So if someone asks what is a cell, so you have to tell those properties which I have recorded in the previous lectures, about 13 or 12 properties of a cell I have already recorded, right? And the lectures before that we recorded about the structure of the cell membrane, right? Now inside the cell membrane we know that there is a semi-viscous fluid which is called cytoplasm. So now we are recording about the cytoplasm, that what is cytoplasm. So let me introduce that first of all. Friends, this is our cell membrane, right? Or we call it a cytoplasmic membrane, or we also call it the periplasmic membrane, right? And then we have in the animal cell, in the center of the cell we have a nucleus, right? So this is our nucleus. Done. What is this? This is our cell membrane. Good, right? And if this is nucleus, so this should be our nuclear membrane. This is our nuclear membrane. Done, friends. So we have in between the cell membrane and the nuclear membrane, here we have a semi-fluid like substance, and that substance is called the cytoplasm, right? So in between the cell membrane and the nuclear membrane we have a semi-fluid like substance, and that substance is called the cytoplasm. So we are recording about this cytoplasm right now. Okay, so let me write it here. Cyto means cell, right? And plasm has been taken from the plasma, right? So let me write it here, plasm. So cytoplasm means the plasma, right? This is plasma. So we call plasma, what is plasma? Plasma means fluid. Plasma means semi-fluid like substance, fluid like substance, right? Let me write it, fluid like substance, right? So there is cyto, so cyto means cell, right? And there is plasma, so cytoplasm, we make it cytoplasm. So the fluid like substance which is present in the cell, we call that cytoplasm, right? But what is the exact location of the cytoplasm? We also have a semi-fluid like substance inside the nucleus, right? Here we also have a little bit fluids inside the nucleus, we call that nucleoplasm, right? But we are not talking about that nucleoplasm, we are talking about the cytoplasm. So let me write the definition of it, that it is a semi-fluid like semi-fluid substance, right, found between what? Between nuclear membrane and cell membrane. Let me write it here, cell membrane, right, friends? So we know it here. I told you just now that in between the cell membrane, right, and the nuclear membrane, here we have a semi-fluid like substance, and this substance is called the cytoplasm, or we know that it is cyto means cells, and plasma has been taken from the plasma, so the plasma means the fluid like substance. So this is the cytoplasm. Other definition to the cytoplasm will be the protoplasm of the cell enclosed by cell membrane. The second definition, if I write here, is the protoplasm of cell enclosed by cell membrane. Let me write it, and then we will know about this definition also. So we say the protoplasm of the cell enclosed by cell membrane. These are the words which should be remembered. Look carefully. Inside the cell membrane, if we just step inside the cell and we cross the cell membrane and step inside the cell, we will find a semi-fluid like substance, and that substance we call as the protoplasm. I will differentiate between cytoplasm and protoplasm right now. We will see that. So the protoplasm of the cell enclosed by means which is present inside too, right? This room is enclosed by these walls and the floor and the ceiling, right? So this protoplasm or this cytoplasm is enclosed by cell membrane. So the protoplasm of the cell which is enclosed by cytoplasm, right, this is which is enclosed by cell membrane, that is called the cytoplasm. Done. The next definition is the amorphous translucent fluid present in the cell. Let me write here also the amorphous translucent fluid, right, present in between cell membrane, right, and nuclear membrane. So the amorphous translucent fluid which is present between cell membrane and nuclear membrane, this translucent amorphous fluid like substance is called the cytoplasm. Done. Then what is the color of the cytoplasm? What is the color of this cytoplasm? So our color, when it was the color of our cytoplasm, when it was stained, it got a bluish color. So the color of the cytoplasm is little bit bluish, right? This is its color. Then we go towards the boundaries of this cytoplasm. Boundaries. So our cytoplasm in our cell has two important boundaries, right? It has how many boundaries? It has two boundaries. The first one is the endoplasm, and the second one is the ectoplasm. Right. What is endoplasm? What is ectoplasm? Let's know it here. Right. Look carefully. The boundary of the cytoplasm which is in contact with the nuclear membrane, this boundary of the cytoplasm is called the endoplasm. Right. Endoplasm. So this is the endoplasm which is in contact with the nuclear membrane, and the boundary of the cytoplasm which is in contact with the cell membrane, this boundary is called the ectoplasm. Ecto means outside, right? Outer. Ecto means outer, right? So it has how many boundaries? It has two boundaries, the endoplasm and the ectoplasm. Later on we will see that there are a little bit differences between the endoplasm and ectoplasm. We will see that, right? So the color is bluish, the boundaries are endoplasm and ectoplasm. And what is the composition of the cytoplasm? So cytoplasm is composed of three important things. It is composed of three important things. The first one is the cytosol, right? And number two is the organelles, right? And the third one is the inclusions. What? Inclusions. So cytoplasm has these three important factors. The first one is the cytosol, the second one are the organelles, and the third one are the inclusions. So first of all, we should know that there are cytoplasmic organelles which are living inside a typical cell. And what are those? Those may be mitochondria, they may be ribosomes, right? Ribosomes, these may be lysosomes, right? There may be cytoskeleton, there may be other things like peroxisomes, right? Golgi apparatus. These are there may be centriole, right? And others also. So these are we can also say that these are the living components of the cytoplasm. So we call them organelles, and all these organelles are present inside the cytoplasm. So they are present there inside the cytoplasm, and we say that these are also the components of the cytoplasm, right? So if we withdraw these components out of the cell, there will be nothing left. Cell will not function properly, cell will die. There will be no remaining cytoplasm, there will be no remaining nucleus and other substances, the cell will die, right? So that's why we say that these components are present inside the cell, but where inside the cell? They are present in the cytoplasm, so they must be counted as the composition, as the components of the cytoplasm, right? So we say these are the organelles which are present in cytoplasm also, right? Then there is the cytosol of the cytoplasm. So what is the cytosol? The cytosol is the liquid portion of the protoplasm, right? Let me write it here. What is cytosol? The liquid portion of protoplasm. We exactly call that as the cytoplasm. So what is cytoplasm? Cytoplasm is the liquid portion of the protoplasm. And what is the difference between cytoplasm and protoplasm? I will clear it now, right? It has about 70% volume. What has 70% volume? The cytosol of the cell is about 70% of the total protoplasm, right? It has two important components, right? There is the protoplasm, right? And inside this protoplasm we have cytoplasm, and inside this protoplasm we have cytosol, right? So 70% of the protoplasm is the cytosol, is the liquid portion of the protoplasm, right? It has what? It has a mixture. It is a mixture of water, salts and other substances. So let me write it here. It is a mixture of, what is cytosol? Cytosol is a mixture of water, salts, cytoskeleton, right? Cytoskeleton is mostly made up of proteins, and we have some salty substances inside the cytosol, right? And there is also water, right? So we say that it is a mixture of water, salt, cytoskeleton and soluble ions. So if someone asks what is the composition of the cytosol of cytoplasm, so we say it is composed of water, it is composed of some salts, the cytoskeleton and the soluble ions like sodium, like potassium, right? So we say like sodium, like potassium, like chlorides. These are present inside your cytoplasm, right? So these are the soluble ions which are present in the cytosol of the cytoplasm. So this was the composition of the cytosol portion of the cytoplasm, Right. Then we come to the inclusions of the cytoplasm. That what are these inclusions? Inclusions are the non-living components of the cytoplasm. So here I have said, my dear friends, here I said that these organelles are the living components. Mostly we say that these are the living components. Why? Because they are always functioning inside the cytoplasm. They have many functions to perform, and if one of them is not there, there will be the vacant space for that. So the living components of the cytoplasm are called the organelles. And what are inclusions? Inclusions are the non-living components. Non-living components. Done. So these are the inclusions. And what are these? The inclusions of cytoplasm has, what are these? These are the non-membranous substances. Non-membranous substances which are present in the cytoplasm. So these are called the inclusions. If you focus here, mitochondria has a specific membrane, peroxisomes have membrane, ribosomes, right, Golgi apparatus have membranes, lysosomes have membranes, right? But here we have some non-membranous substances. These may be proteins, right? These may be lipid droplets, these may be some glycogen substances, right? So the non-membranous substances which are present in the cytoplasm, these may be some proteins, right? These may be some lipid droplets, right? These substances, and it also contains some glycogen, right, and some enzymes also, right? So these are the inclusions of the cytoplasm. So we say that our cytoplasm, inside our cell, cytoplasm is composed of three important factors. What is that? That is cytosol, that is organelles, and that is the inclusions. So the composition of cytosol, I have written here the composition of the organelles which are present there, and the composition of the inclusions of the cytoplasm, right? Now we say that what is the differences between the protoplasm and the cytoplasm, right? So let me write here the cytoplasm, right, and let me write here the protoplasm. So what is the difference between cytoplasm and protoplasm? It's very easy. The cytoplasm is the jelly-like watery substance which is present in the cell, right? So we say that the jelly-like watery substance between cell membrane and nuclear membrane. Let me write here, jelly-like watery substance, right, present between nuclear membrane and cell membrane. So this is called the cytoplasm. But what is the protoplasm? The protoplasm is the organic and inorganic substances of the cell, right? The organic and inorganic substances of the cell. This is called the protoplasm. For example, if we say here, for example, what is the protoplasm of the cell? So we say that the nucleus, right, it is the organic substance, it is the organic part. Inside the nucleus we also have inorganic substances, right? So there is mitochondria, right? There are mitochondria, there are lysosomes, there are ribosomes. So all these components are the protoplasm of the cell. There are certain proteins, right? There is cytoskeleton. So these are the protoplasm of the cell. And we say that inside this protoplasm we have some jelly-like watery substance. So that jelly-like watery substance of the protoplasm is called the cytoplasm. done. So this was the composition. This is the difference between protoplasm and cytoplasm. I hope you got it. This was the composition of the cytoplasm. Now my dear friends, what are some functions of the cytoplasm? That what does cytoplasm do in our cell? What are their main functions? Let me write them here. Functions of cytoplasm. Cytoplasm. Function. The first function that cytoplasm plays, the very important function, is it provides shape to the cell. It provides shape to cell. Look carefully, my dear friends. If we put a needle here inside the cell, right? If we inject a needle and pull all the cytoplasm out of the cell, then the cell will become shrinked. The cell will become shrink and the shape of the cell will be lost, right? And if we inject back that water, that cytoplasm back to the cell, so the cell will gain its shape again. So this cytoplasm is responsible to provide a shape to the cell, right? So once again I'm telling you, if you withdraw all those cytoplasm out of the cell membrane will collapse. The shape of the cell will be lost. So cytoplasm is responsible to provide shape to the cell. This was the first function. The next important function of the cytoplasm is the transport of materials. Look, if here cell performs an endocytosis, right, and it has engulfed a small vesicle, right? So this vesicle has to travel up to here. So this vesicle travels along the cytoplasm, inside the cytoplasm, and reaches its point, right? So who has transported this vesicle to that point? Cytoplasm has did this function, right? So cytoplasm is responsible for transport of different materials within the cell, inside the cell. So this is the next function. The third function of cytoplasm is the storage function. It performs the storage function. How? It stores certain chemical substances like lipids. We have written here the lipid, right? Like glycogen, cytoplasm stores glycogen, right? So it performs a function which is storage. It stores minerals or ions, right? So it also do the function of storage, cytoplasm. The next function of cytoplasm, the most important, is the glycolysis. Glycolysis. Look friends, we know that respiration occurs inside our body. What? Respiration. And respiration is the process through which our body gains energy. So this respiration occurs, we know that, in 3 steps. How many steps? 3 steps. The first one is glycolysis, in which glucose is broken down to 2 pyruvates. Then there is Krebs cycle, and then there is electron transport chain, right? These 2 steps occur within the mitochondria, right? But what about glycolysis? Glycolysis occurs in the cytoplasm. Why? Because the enzymes which are responsible to break the glucose into 2 pyruvates, those enzymes are present in the cytoplasm. So glycolysis occurs inside the cytoplasm, right? This is the function of cytoplasm that it plays, right? Number 5, it dissolves wastes. Cytoplasm dissolves waste substances, right? So all those waste substances which are produced by the cell, which have to be given to the tissues, to the extracellular fluids. So all those waste substances are dissolved in the cytoplasm. All those substances are collected in small vesicles within the cytoplasm. So it dissolves waste substances also, right? The next important function is that it is the site for cytoplasmic organelles. Site for cytoplasmic organelles. What does it mean? we have in our cytoplasm, we have small organs which are called organelles. For example, all these are the cytoplasmic organelles. So where are they present? They are present inside the cytoplasm, right? Cytoplasm provides a house for these cytoplasmic organelles like these. So all these are present in the cytoplasm, right? So cytoplasm provides a house for these cytoplasmic organelles. Okay, then it is a site for pseudopod formation. Oh wow, the seventh function, or let me write it somewhere else, let me write it here. The seventh function of the cytoplasm, the most important, is that site for pseudopod formation. Pseudopod formation. What is pseudopod? In certain cells like amoeba, right? In some special cells like amoeba, when amoeba moves, right? Let me make it here. For example, this is amoeba. When amoeba wants to make a movement in this direction, right? So it will push its cytoplasm and will make a structure like this, right? It will make a structure like this. So this structure in which the cell membrane and cytoplasm has gone a little bit forward, this is called pseudopod, right? And through this pseudopod, the amoeba moves in forward direction in any direction, right? So cytoplasm is the site for pseudopod formation, right? This is the function. And the next important function of cytoplasm is the protection. Cytoplasm provides protection to the cell. How? It is surrounding the nucleus. So cytoplasm helps in to protect the nucleus and the nuclear materials, right? The next function of the cytoplasm is that it provides turgidity to the cell. So it is in the case of plants. So turgidity to the cell. So cytoplasm is very important part of the cell. So friends, this was about cytoplasm. I hope you liked the lecture and I hope you have got something, you have learned something from this lecture. Inshallah, in the next lecture I will discuss about the nucleus and the structure of the nucleus, the nuclear membrane, and then we will inshallah discuss each organelle in detail. So see you in the next lecture. And if it's a humble request that if you like our lecture, please hit the like button and share these lectures with your friends also. Thank you so much.